Fall of my sophomore year, I took a class, you may have heard of it, Computer Science 103, Mathematical Foundations of Computing. I went into that class feeling like hot shit. I had just come out of a great summer working in China. I had made a LinkedIn account and had almost 100 connections. And was just feeling like I was on top of the world. I'd gotten a new Facebook profile picture and was just racking up the likes. I was on a roll. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1:30 to 3, I would skip with glee to Huang Engineering Center thinking, hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Truly a classic of our generation. I would then sit in lecture thinking, I'm ready to fulfill my Lizzie McGuire-esque math dreams, and subsequently leave lecture thinking, I don't know what my dreams are made of at all. In fact, I didn't know anything anymore. As I looked at each problem set, the first thing that came to mind was, well, I can go to office hours. I'm sure I could get some help there. And indeed, to office hours I went. I would open the doors of Huang's infamous basement and immediately be overwhelmed by the scent of desperation. 106, 107, 109, 110, 120, 124, 161, 221, 229, any combination of three numbers in the computer science department led innocent undergraduates to face their impending demise. I would make my way through the littered remains of hope and sit at the 103 table. I'm feeling so insecure because A, everyone around me seems to know what they're doing, B, everyone is so good at what they're doing, C, I don't know what to ask the TA, and D, I am 100% sure that no one else feels the same way. I'm just a burden on anyone. Then came the first midterm. I came out of it thinking, yo, this wasn't too bad. I'm just being too hard on myself. So I marched my way straight to TAP, got myself a nice Nutella milkshake, subsequently dropped the Nutella milkshake all over myself on the way back to my dorm, but I was feeling such a high that I didn't care. Perhaps a week later, the grades came back. I noticed a lot of red marks on my exam. I thought, breathing hard, heart racing like Usain Bolt, armpits sweating like Niagara Falls. I took a look at my score. 45 out of 100. I tried rationalizing. I'm sure everyone scored the same. The median score, 92. Well, of course I got a 45. I just didn't study hard enough. I need to do more practice exams, do more problem sets, more study sheets, more. I'm understanding the material. I'm not just memorizing and regurgitating it, right? Then came the second exam. I went into it thinking it would go swell. Well, oh well. Same thing happened. 45, median was a 92 or a 93. And that's when it finally hit me. I understand nothing, absolutely nothing. Brute force had blinded me into thinking I was some sort of superstar, but I was just a washed up backup actor in LA. But while this memorizing and regurgitating was happening, I was becoming someone I never want to be again. I would sit in my room for hours, poring over problem sets, not wanting to see anyone. I had a short temper, I would forget to eat sometimes, and I just felt like Stanford sucked. I didn't want to see any of my friends. I knew I was just a burden on them. CS 103 was my first priority, but in all of the wrong ways. And little did I know at the time, my friends were quite worried about me. I'm usually a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and I just went missing my sophomore fall. Those last 3 weeks of the quarter, I felt like a shell of a human being. I couldn't bring myself to try or laugh or cry or smile or study or do anything of value. I just wanted the quarter to end. I came out of the final exam feeling so defeated. I just felt like laughing and crying simultaneously because I did so poorly in this course. What? That night, I make my way back to my room. I'm feeling in a daze and I just want to chill out for some time. And laying on the floor, I see this one jar. It's pretty jank looking, it's kind of big. It's filled with colorful notes, thinking maybe it held notes, or held candy rather, back in 1983. And it's just sitting there in the floor of my 2-room double outer room, room 230, London. Ooh, yikes. I'm thinking, is this some sort of prank? And then my friends come out and tell me that they wrote 103 things that they love about me. Just read a few here. You're so dedicated to being there for others and to understand how you can be of service. A classic Amit Spotlights question. How can I better support you? You make people feel comfortable and valued when they're around you. You're handsome, here's my number, let's date. I think that's more of a Stanford I succeeded kind of story. That night, at the very same desk in which I pored over all of those goddamn problem sets, I read every single one of these green and pink, white and blue slips of paper. Every single green and pink, white and blue slip of paper reminded me that I'm not just a nameless, talentless math student who couldn't write proofs that made any sense. Every single green and pink, white and blue slip of paper reminded me that I'm not just my SUNET ID undergraduate in math and computational science. I'm Amit Pasupathy, human being. My friends love me for being a human being. After reading every single one of these green and pink, white and blue slips of paper, I cried a little bit, and I smiled a lot. As I underwent my personal torture that was CS 103, I had so many gaps in formal logic. I couldn't figure out how to make theories into proofs or translate ideas into sentences. But only now do I realize I had one big, huge, gigantic gap in personal logic. I didn't know how to value myself, and I was filling it with copies of my transcript. But it was this jar and my friends that made me realize I'm worth so much more. They knew that 103 kicked my ass. In fact, they celebrated how hard 103 kicked my ass. Yes, CS 103, its theories, its problem sets, its exams, they don't define me. They didn't affect how much my friends care for me, so how should they affect how much I care for or value myself? When you look at Carta, the first thing you check is the distribution of A's and B's, right? Well, for CS 103, I want you to look at that D. That 2%, you always wonder, who is that guy? That's me. Nice to meet you. And that 2%, that's me. I'm not afraid to admit that I got that. In fact, I'm proud. Because of my friends, this jar, and that D, I was freed from the painful handcuff that is Stanford's hyperactive, overachieving academic culture. So now, I'm redoing it. This quarter, I'm in CS 103 again. I'm also in CS 103A for extra help and problem sets. And I'm not in any other hard math courses. I know that I have an academic support system and many more jars to help pick me up when I fall down. I'm a little older and wiser. I feel stronger about my values, and I know why I'm here at Stanford. And I know, oh boy do I know, that my grades don't define me. Stanford, I screwed up, but I'm back on my feet and ready to try again. Thank you.